and he's in trouble. He's going to run. He's going to get the first down.
Don't sleep on those legs. Oh, he faked the slide. Sauce time.
The Pitt Panthers have pulled a stunning upset over the West Virginia Mountaineers.
And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Simple Fi. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Mason Kling. We should be joined shortly remotely by our third co-host, Kent Vanderwood. And welcome to the title defense.
The title defense?
ACC title, baby.
Oh.
ACC play starts this weekend.
Yeah.
First game of league play.
Just doesn't really feel like it with it being Georgia Tech, but
you can't choose your conference except when you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Georgia Tech this week. We'll be talking the rest of week 4. Not really a lot else to say. I mean, it's just I'm excited to start conference play, seeing that 0-0 next start overall records start going up. Maybe start going up in the AP poll if things fall right. I'm just, we're in the swing of things. It's nice to be in mid-season form.
Almost a guaranteed move up in the AP poll, I think, for us this week if we have a commanding win, just because of what's going on elsewhere across the board. We'll get into that later.
Do we have ranked on ranked?
There's a bunch. We have Florida State and Wake Forest right ahead of us.
Yeah, okay,
one of them's for sure going to lose. And then just going through my Rolodex real quick here. Also pretty good shot that we're going to get a 2-loss Baylor, which we could jump them. Also going to see Arkansas at 20, probably going to lose to Bama.
Wouldn't it be nice, though?
Yeah, and then possibly a 2-loss A&M as well. So there's room to move up here. Things will probably shake up a little bit. Finally getting some ranked on ranked, and yeah.
I mean, pretty much most games around the college football world are in conference play at this point. I think we've got probably still a couple schools playing. Some stragglers that played some early conference games. And some other P5 games. I know Syracuse is playing Wagner, so we're going to have 5-0 Syracuse.
Orange men.
We'll get to the other games later. Let's start. So, Pitt versus Georgia Tech. This is the first matchup in Pittsburgh since 2018. They've played 3 straight on the road, and we're finally getting them in our home stadium because we played them on the road during COVID when all the schedules got messed up.
Oh. Yeah.
So just to give you some basic kind of 1,000-foot view, Pat Narduzzi in his coaching tenure is 6-1 against Georgia Tech. His only loss coming in 2017 during, I think I'm not sure, but I'm very positive that's his worst season as a Pitt head coach at 5-7. And that was not when Geoff Collins was there. That was when Paul Johnson was there running the triple. Speaking of, Geoff Collins. really throws me off. Geoff Collins is in a box. He's dead. He has been compromised to a permanent end, and taking his place will be Brent Key, the former assistant head coach, O-line coach, and run game coordinator. He wants to be a great run game coordinator because his best running back transferred to Alabama.
Just shows where the program's at.
Yeah. I'm going to go through their roster real quick, pull up their leading passer, rusher, all that. So on the year, Jeff Sims, their leading passer, with 739 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Their leading rusher has 191 yards on the ground. That is really Donovan Smith, but I could be completely wrong. He's averaging 6 yards per carry with 3 touchdowns. There's a reason that Geoff Collins got fired. This job is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever won more than 3 games in a season. He had lost his last 5 Power 5 games by a combined score of like 150 to 20 or some number of that magnitude.
Which is crazy because I definitely think of Georgia Tech as being bad, but I don't think of them as being that bad. But they really are.
It's because they won away from the triple, right? That's a system where you can make up for gaps in skill talent, right? Because even though they try to be the Atlanta school with Geoff Collins, they're never going to be the first choice for any kids in Atlanta. They're going to Georgia, Bama, any SEC school, Clemson. They're not going to stay home to go to Georgia Tech, where it's already hard to get kids on campus.
Yeah.
So when you run the triple, you can actually make up for those deficiencies in talent, but just running some boring spread options not really going to move the needle as far as making up for talent gaps.
Right. Yeah, but that's going to be. I'm not sure if you looked at some of the stats for their rush defense as well, but they have quite literally one of the worst rush defenses in the whole country. So if you thought we were going to get away from the run this week and throw the ball a little bit more, probably not.
I mean, with an opponent like this, like it's just like keep it simple.
Yeah.
If they can't stop the run, keep running it at them. I mean, looking at their previous 4 games on the year, they're 1-3. They lost to Clemson 41-10 after kind of hanging on in the first half. They beat their FCS bye game. They got blanked by Ole Miss 42-0. They lost at UCF 27-10. I don't think UCF is even that good.
No.
So
No. But we need a showing like Clemson and Ole Miss had, just kind of a statement win. You know?
I think a shutout is on the table just with, interim head coach. Obviously, already not a great staff. Already a very depleted roster as far as like recruits. Like I said before, their best rusher was Jahmyr Gibbs, who transferred to Alabama this year. They don't really have anyone. They didn't really have anyone besides him, and now he's gone too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely need a win like that with what we get across the board with some other games. Statement win would definitely help us move up, and like it's just strength of schedule stuff at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So from what I've seen, I don't think Rodney will be back this week, but that's sort of a luxury at this point. We're just going to keep riding Izzy until Rodney gets back to give him a breather. I also saw a stat that
is he for sure out this week?
I think he's doubtful from like the
I
insider reporters.
heard some rumors that he might play, but honestly, if we're not going to really even need him again, why rush back? So
exactly
same story as last week.
So yeah, I mean, I would expect a heavy dosage run if they can't stop it. You'd like to see some legitimate passing concepts from the offense.
Yes, I would.
Let's like see what the play action has. I mean, unless they're like saving the playbook for Miami at the end of the year, which I don't really see why you would do. I mean, I guess you don't really have to show much.
At some point, we're gonna have to break it out at some point. Mm-hmm. So, let's just keep open it up at least a little bit more. Get a little bit more creative so we can lines at 22 for this game, which I honestly love Pitt as because I think it's gonna be one of those where defense doesn't fold, hopefully, and we just kind of dictate. We run the ball. We're gonna have possession for 90% of the game, hopefully.
Yeah, something like that would be really nice. I mean, speaking of defense, you would like to see Haba Baldonado back this week. I think he's less important with the depth at the end with John Morgan. You'd like to see Desmond Alexander back, but you also have Deion Hayes and all those guys. Injury news, injury update. Sorry we didn't get this earlier, but defensive end Nate Temple, backup guy, number 16, is out for the season. And rotational corner Ryland Gandry is out for the rest of the year as well. Nate Temple is, at this point, it is like a little, because we're a little bit thin if Hava and Alexander aren't back, but, sorry, not Gandry, Rashad Battle is out, the cornerback. I think that's a bigger loss because he's our tall corner. It seems to only like recruiting short corners. The tallest guy in the 2 deep now is 6'1", who I'm taller than. Not as fast, for sure, but as soon as we get into like more ACC play with these taller receivers, especially schools like UNC and Miami, that's when you might see his presence be missed. But Georgia Tech, I mean, I don't think we're going to learn a whole lot about either side of the ball, really. They're just that bad. Oh, do we have a Kent?
Kenton.
Hang on.
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
We just started a couple minutes. We're going live here, but just finished talking a little bit about the game. How you feeling?
Feeling about the game coming up, I feel pretty good. I feel like we should, gotta win this game. Gotta win this one. Gotta get off to a strong start in the ACC play. They just fired their coach. I don't want to let them have any hope in this game.
Yeah, gotta stay up. They're probably gonna be up just because whenever you get that interim head coach in, they always get a little bit of extra juice for whatever reason. So definitely have to, hop on them early and don't even let's not even give them a chance of hope.
Well, I mean, trend-wise, dead cat bounces are 0-2. We had Nebraska and we had Arizona State, who both lost week after firing their coach.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else got fired this year.
Let's keep that narrative going.
Yeah. So do we have any word on Bartholomew or Jared Wayne coming back at all?
To my knowledge, Bartholomew was good. From what I've seen,
it was like a precautionary sling type of deal. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
I mean, I think you'd rather have him 100% for later in the year for the big matchups, but if he's not good to go, right, I'd like to see Carter Johnson get some more action because he had that long run last week down the sideline. He more or less took like a crossing route down like 40 yards.
Yeah.
But, like they said it on the broadcast, like he's like 250 pounds, and when you get a head of steam at that weight, it's pretty hard to take you down.
Yeah.
So if he can get, integrated.
Also, just need depth there. We just need depth there.
Yeah.
So let the kid let him cook a little bit.
Yep.
Agreed. Also, I like the fact that we're wearing the all royal jerseys, the royal jerseys and royal pants this weekend. I think that's a good look.
Yeah, this is the first time we've done that this season, right?
Yeah.
We might have done it for the
Color
brawl.
rush action.
I think we did all blue on blue for the brawl.
No, we had yellow. We had yellow pants for the
Oh,
ball.
yeah, you're right.
They went classic blue and yellow for the brawl.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question for both of you. How do you feel about blue helmets?
I don't like them.
Sick.
I don't like them.
Really,
to be honest.
I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple of concepts that they look really good in. Like it's more or less just a flip of the current helmet.
Right. I honestly think that some type of whiteout would be
see,
even better.
I also agree that a whiteout helmet would be insane. Like you do, not like the white with like the classic gold pit script, right? My thought is you might do the cathedral stripe and then the script outline in yellow.
Yeah.
And then like the jerseys maybe just like yellow outlines.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think some type of whiteout. I mean, it would be kind of sick to have like a color rush uni though, essentially with the blue helmets. But Kat, you said you're a fan of them.
I think that would be awesome if they had the uniforms that they're wearing this weekend: blue jersey, blue pants, and then it had like a blue helmet, gold face mask, and like gold lettering. That would be awesome.
That's literally the image we're looking at right now.
Yeah. I don't hate them. I just think what we're rocking currently is a little bit better, in my opinion. But
I mean, we have like a near perfect uniform anyway.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I like the block numbering better from our like 2018 throwbacks.
yeah, they didn't need to change all that much. There's just the color scheme. They just needed to go to the royal and yellow, and we were good. They're
think,
fine now.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. I love our uniforms, but I think they could do some good stuff with it. And I think that a whiteout uniform would be great. And this is, of course, our Georgia Tech preview. We're talking about a whiteout uniform.
Yeah.
that we're not even wearing. A hypothetical uniform.
Hypothetical. Speaking of uniforms, I mean, Georgia Tech has some of the worst. I guess they finally got away from the Russell Athletic uniforms.
Yeah.
I think they're an Adidas school now, but they're still like nothing crazy there.
Let's see if okay, the images aren't showing me.
The uniforms they used to wear though were awful.
Yeah,
That's like
I know exactly what you're talking about too. Yeah, I think their away uniforms look like better. Like I think the white works better with like the arm stripes and all that, and like the gold helmets. But I think their home uniforms are kind of bogus.
Yeah, not a great uniform game. Not a great uniform team. Not a great just team in general. So.
Oh, actually, here's something I forgot to bring up. How do you feel about it being the 8:00 game, a night game in Heinz Field?
It's ACC Network, right?
ACC Network, yeah.
So it's not like prime time, but
Not more about the prime time, but more about like, because I think that Heinz Field at night can kind of be an underrated like atmosphere in college. Like if they get that stadium, pretty full, and then you've got like the wind coming off the Allegheny River, fucking up everything else, and like it gets really cold in Heinz. I think that it's a super underrated venue just for the fact that like it can be sort of an intimidating place, and I think that like a night game kind of helps fit.
Yeah, you never want to give the students enough time to actually get over the stadium. They'll show out. West Virginia kind of showed what
traffic is bad on 376.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool that it's a night game. if all the games could be night games, that would honestly be ideal. It's just something about the 8 o'clock kickoff. You get all day to get hyped up for it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised that we got that time slot, but I prefer that over noon.
Yeah.
I think the only reason we got is because the marquee matchup got moved to ABC, I want to say, but we'll get into that when we get
Yeah, a lot of good. They're getting. We're not, but pretty much everybody else in the ACC is kind of getting right into like the juggernaut games early. So we'll see how they shake out.
I was getting ranked.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech, honestly, we got, that's a good, definitely first ACC game that worked out in our favor.
Yeah.
But we got to take advantage of it.
We also got Virginia Tech next week at 3:30. So, sort of, I think 3:30 is also, like, I think it's one of the more fun time slots, especially when you get, like, late fall. It starts getting
love
dark.
3:30.
3:30 kicks, especially late fall when it starts getting dark at, like, halftime. Those are special to me. But
It's like two different games. It's light out, and then you go in for the halftime break, and you come back out, and it's dark. It's just you can flip the switch, turn it on.
that was the funnest game last year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right. We got anything else on this game? I mean, I just think that. All right. You know what? Score prediction. You go first.
Oh, geez. I'm gonna go 42-10 Pitt. I think it's gonna be a pretty convincing win.
Okay. I'm gonna go 41-0 shutout.
Wow. Okay.
I think we picked a shutout.
I'm going to go 35-14.
Okay, closer.
You doubt
closer.
us.
So
You doubt us.
you're having Georgia Tech cover.
What's the spread? I don't even know.
22.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it at 22.
Okay. Dude, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I mean, think about it. They beat now Western Michigan and then Rhode Island by 21 each. You think they're going to beat Georgia Tech by more
Okay,
than 21?
but think
about
about the playbooks in those games. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That is true. You're not wrong. I expect them to, be way more, full head of steam against this team. But all right, you know what? You guys have convinced me. It's
No, I think that's fair. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I think that's a fair prediction based off what we've seen against shitty teams so far this year. So I don't hate your reasoning at all.
Into account with that prediction, I'll up it by 5. Pitt covers 40 to what did I say?
14.
21 or
14. All right.
40-14.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the rest of the week 4 slate. Excuse me. Excuse me while this loads. We're just all right. We're recording this on Thursday. I'm gonna be honest. There are no good games tonight. You've got South Carolina's FCS game.
No free ads.
No free ads. Sorry, ESPN. And then Utah State, BYU. Utah State sucks. Let's move on to Friday. So on Friday, I have one game listed as sort of falling into that Mario's tier. Now, if it's your first pod, we have 3 tiers for ranking games. We have the Fats tier, which is sort of the games you watch if you can't get any other games on, or if all the other games went to shit. Maybe if these games are close or interesting, you could tune into them. Boost games, these are nice channel flipping games. These are ones that might switch back and forth to during the commercial break. Then we have the Mario's games. These are games you want to watch. These are the top tier matchups of the weekend. So, sort of a light Friday night slate, except for 10:30 p.m. ESPN. Number 15 Washington goes to unranked UCLA. Both 4-0. Big matchup in the Pac-12. If Washington wins this one, they're for real. They are 2.5-point road favorites. If UCLA wins this one, they're a Pac-12 contender. Straight up.
Yeah. This is a relevant game for Pitt too, just for ranking purposes,
Mm-hmm.
like possible jump of Washington if they lose. So will be one that's definitely the best game on Friday night.
The rest of them are sort of group of 5 stinkers.
Yeah. I mean, UTSA and Middle Tennessee will be a good one just because of what we saw from Middle Tennessee last week.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do it again. I think UTSA is a better coach team, a better in-game managed team. But, yeah, keep an eye on that one. UTSA is kind of showing us, UTSA is a favorite. I think I like UTSA. Or sorry, UTSA is the favorite. Sorry, I thought it was Middle Tennessee State. That is my bad. All right. So Friday night, sort of find TV around 10:30, maybe you're at the bar, say, hey, you put on ESPN. And then, you'll be watching that and seeing Aaron Judge in the on the screen. 61, baby, let's go. Moving to the early slate, Saturday. Starting off in the Fats tier. Now, this is not any disrespect to Kansas, but I don't think Iowa State is very good. This is 3:30 p.m. on ESPN2 is Iowa State at Kansas. Iowa State is a road favorite, which I do not understand. I think Kansas is going to win this game. Jalen Daniels is getting into that Grayson McCall tier of these new age option quarterbacks who just, I mean, when you watch Jalen Daniels play, you have no idea where the ball is going. He's so good at these play fakes. He's so good at these late pitches, these shovel passes. I mean, you got to tune into this game just to see what Lance Leipold is scheming up on offense. This is just going to be a clinic for Kansas. I think that they're just going to out-scheme Iowa State. I don't think Iowa State has the players to be better than this scheme. And West Virginia didn't, Duke didn't, two heavyweights. But listen, man, Kansas, this is a real deal team, and I think that if Kansas is 5-0, are they going to be ranked?
They have to be at this point. They were receiving a shit ton of votes.
I think they're 26th behind Kansas State.
They're literally right outside. So
yeah, I think they'll be in there. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Not sure what Iowa State has done to be favorites in this game.
They beat Iowa. They suck.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Kansas here too. And if history repeats itself, they will now lose. That I've said it on here, but I still like Kansas.
Okay, let's move into the Boots tier, starting with Oregon State, Utah on 2 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network. You're probably not going to be able to see this game legally. If you want to watch it, you can find it. I hear there's a site named after a river, some sort of stream on the eastern side of the United States. You might be able to find that game there. Utah is without their best pass catcher for the rest of the year. Their number one tight end went down. So they're at a disadvantage for the rest of their season. Oregon State, you have to think that they're not going to turn the ball over 6 times again. I think this one can be compelling. And if you've got an extra laptop, maybe throw this one on the corner, kind of look at the scoreboard, all that good stuff. Okay, 12 o'clock on ESPN2. Purdue goes to number 21 Minnesota, undefeated. Minnesota's a big favorite in this game. However, I think they've earned that. And I think whoever wins this game is going to be the presumptive Big Ten West favorite because everyone else kind of looks bad.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess if Purdue wins this game, that does kind of set them up okay for that. But I think Minnesota will handle them, given what we've seen from Purdue against like Syracuse and some of those other schools.
This is a check the score before you watch game for sure.
Yeah,
because Minnesota could be up big, or this could be sort of in the muck.
I could see this one going either way. Purdue's lost a couple tough ones against Penn State and Syracuse.
Well, they just love getting 15-yard penalties. They just love it. They can't get enough of it.
Addicted to unsportsmanlike conduct will get you. It affects us all.
They get a rush from that yellow flag being thrown in the air.
Yeah.
Excuse me for that sip of water. 12 o'clock on Big Ten Network. Illinois goes to Wisconsin. This is a game you want to watch if you like seeing the ball run. There are 2 great running backs to watch, Chase Brown and Braylon Allen. I'm kind of interested to see. Illinois is a underdog this week at Camp Randall, but Brett Bielema, I think, is kind of being overlooked as getting Illinois to 3-1 after being absolutely dog shit for about 2 decades.
Yeah, he's done well, but I like Wisconsin in this game pretty handedly, just because it seems like a bounce back game for them after what they had last week. I know they're down, but like this will be a game where they can kind of get back on their feet for me a little bit. Illinois might make some noise, but I think Wisconsin handled business.
I think this is like a mirror game where they're just the same team.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, they're the same team pointing at each other.
Wisconsin just does a little bit better.
Okay. Also, 12 o'clock on Fox, the big noon Saturday game. Number 4 Michigan goes to Iowa. I'm surprised they didn't make this a night game. Based on the last time that Michigan came at night. But this is a game where Michigan shouldn't lose it, but they absolutely can. J.J. McCarthy threw some pretty bad picks last week when they were playing Maryland. And Iowa loves to get turnovers. So this is one to keep the eye on the score. If this is close late, this is something you got to see. But the only thing is Iowa will have to score on defense. I don't think they're going to score on offense against Michigan, at least touchdowns. So.
Yeah, I don't think so either, given that they've struggled to score against some very inferior opponents to Michigan's defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for them to put up some points. A lot of punts from there. Punter's going to
I'm
get
honestly surprised by the spread in this game, too. Michigan's only minus 11 in this game.
I think that's accounting for Iowa's
Kent.
defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, Iowa does have great defense, but at the same time, I feel like Michigan's still going to be able to put up some points, and Iowa is just not. So
I'm with you there, Kent.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit. If Michigan's truly the fourth best team in the country, then they should handle an 11-point spread against Iowa.
Yeah, well said.
Exactly.
Let's move into that Mario's tier. At 12 o'clock on ESPN, number 7 Kentucky goes to number 14 Ole Miss. Another battle of unbeatens. Ole Miss is favored by 7. Listen, Kentucky's gotten Chris Rodriguez back. Their running game is going to start looking like it has the last couple of years. Essentially, this game is, if they don't have to lean on Will Levis, they can probably win. Ole Miss struggled with Tulsa last week. You don't want to be doing that as the number 14 ranked team in the country. But this is pretty compelling. Kind of shows us what that middle tier of the SEC is, and this is one we'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you hinted at it with the Will Levis stuff, but it is his first SEC game, I believe. So it'll be the first kind of.
No, they beat Florida.
Oh,
right?
That's right. All right, so he's got a little bit under his belt, but be good to see him in the primetime slate. Was Florida ranked then?
Yes, because that was right after they'd beat Utah.
Yeah. Okay. Will still be a good matchup to see Levis against another good, pretty SEC school. But that's like that's one of the best ranked matchups that I think we'll get this week, right?
I think so. Until the night slate for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Who you guys like in that game?
I probably like Kentucky just so they can run the ball. Ole Miss's defense has been subpar, to say the least, outside the Georgia Tech game.
I really don't know a whole lot about either of these schools, essentially. So I don't feel great about either.
Oh, I don't feel great about my pick.
I don't feel great either way.
I could see us going either way, but I guess I'll go with Ole Miss. So Mason, you're the tiebreaker.
All right. Well, then this will be my reasoning. 7 points in kind of any SEC matchup in the top 6 teams is probably too much because I think that unless it's in Alabama or Georgia, like the gap between 2 and then 4 and then the bottom 6 is like huge in both cases. But those 4 teams that are in the middle of the pack are really close. So I'll go with Kentucky just to cover. They might not win, but they'll cover.
Okay. Let's round out this tier. 12 o'clock on ESPN Plus, the app that everybody loves. Texas Tech, after their big upset of Texas last week, goes to number 25, Kansas State. I think this is a good matchup because Kansas State is a damn good football team. They run the hell out of the ball. Deuce Vaughn is the mighty midget, and Adrian Martinez is finally getting to play good football. So,
two teams coming off huge wins.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, I think Texas Tech was a little bit more fluky there.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the post-game clip of their coach, Joey McGuire, in the locker room goes, I told you, if you, like, they were going to break eventually. Essentially, he's just like, yeah, Texas is soft. We knew this. Because that game was just a second-half meltdown of all-time proportions by Texas. But
yeah, hate to see that.
I love that. I love that so much.
Just as a Texas player, if the coach was basically like, they're going to break down, and then...
You break down.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the afternoon slate. This one's a little bit lighter, but there are some really good games sort of just in this slot. There's a couple good ones to flip between. At 4 o'clock p.m. in our Boots tier on SEC Network is number 17 A&M at Mississippi State. Mississippi State beat them last year, and I think they can do it again. Will Rogers, their quarterback, is possibly taking that next step of just, from being an air raid quarterback to being a truly, good quarterback. And, he'll have to do that against a really good A&M defense. I think that's a very compelling matchup as these two sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. A&M is now without Anias Smith, their receiver, for the rest of the year. He's one of two actually compelling or good players on offense that they had. So they're now down to just Devin Achane. So that handicap will definitely swing in Mississippi State's favor.
Praying for a 3-2 at Texas A&M.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And also, Mississippi State is favored by 4 at home, giving you an idea of what Vegas thinks about that game.
Yeah.
All right. 3:30 on ABC in our Mario's. Oh, sorry, never mind. That's a different game. Sorry, 3:30 on Fox. Number 9 Oklahoma State goes to number 16 Baylor. This is a Big 12 title rematch from last year. Oklahoma State got stopped on the 1-yard line by that amazing Baylor defense last year. You got to think that Mike Gundy's been in their head about this one. This is extremely compelling. Blake Shapen looked good last week at Iowa State when they had to lean on his shoulders to win the game. Oklahoma State has been a very quiet. They're like the quietest top 10 team in the nation. They're ranked 9th.
Yeah.
They're 3-0. They haven't played anybody yet, but that offense looks like it's back to being a Gundy offense instead of being more of a defense and ball control team like they were last year. I don't know. This one's just exciting. It's 9 versus 16. They're two of the probably top 3 or 4 teams in the Big 12, and they're getting the primetime billing, and they deserve it.
Yeah, rooting for Oklahoma State in this one, just for my my Big 12 picks, and also I think it's going to be a little bit of a coming out party for them, showing them that they're the real deal here.
I agree.
Baylor had a good year last year. I still think they're a very good team. Oklahoma State's just a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Ken, you got anything on this one?
To that point, I guess I will be rooting for Baylor for my Big 12 picks.
Well, I've got the Cowboys winning this league, so I'm all Oklahoma State. All right. So I'm going to split the G-Door picks. This is our game of the week for anyone's first podcast. I've got 2 G-Door games of the week, and they're both in the ACC. First one, 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Number 22 Wake Forest at number 23 Florida State. This one, I think, is going to be really fun. High-scoring game. Wake Forest offense showed what we can do against Clemson last week. Florida State can run the hell out of the ball, and Wake Forest is pretty much powerless to stop it. Jordan Travis is back. He looked good in last week's game against Boston College. I would say take the over. I'm a little concerned about possible remnants from the hurricane. It's currently
What's that?
It's at 64.
Okay.
The forecast is 83 and sunny, but maybe wet conditions, something like that, might drag this down. But, I mean, listen, this is a really compelling game on the other side of the Atlantic. I mean, this could be like something that separates. If Wake Forest loses this, I think they're out of the running for that division. But if Florida State wins this, I think they're a real contender to win that division crown. Speaking of division crowns, we did run another poll on Twitter this week. It was 2 separate polls. It was who do you think is going to win the Atlantic and who do you think is going to win the Coastal. Unsurprisingly, in the Coastal poll, we had 45 votes. 100% of them went to Pitt. I should have expected that from our audience, but it's glad to see that we got the confidence. No one else received any votes. Now, the Atlantic side of the division, Clemson led with 53% of the votes out of 49 total. NC State comes in second with 29%. Wake Forest got 10, and Florida State got 8. So we already talked about those second 2 teams, Florida State and Wake Forest, are playing at 3:30. The other G-Door game of the week is at 7:30 p.m. on ABC, so you can just keep the channel on. Number 10 NC State goes to number 5 Clemson. This was NC State's big upset last year, and I'm going to be honest, it's time for NC State to put Dabo in a box. Wake Forest was this close, and NC State's got a much better defense than Wake Forest. I think they're up for the challenge.
Is this one in Raleigh, or are they going
It
down
is in
to
Clemson.
Okay.
Valley.
Death Valley. So that's pretty big plus for the Tigers there. I won't lie, but I would love nothing more.
It's going to be coming through. It's going to be wet. It's going to be. It could be a sloppy game.
Very true. Very true. Going to come down to maybe who can Who can run the ball better? Who can play better defense?
I think if it's sloppy weather conditions, that helps NC State, man. I've seen a lot of people saying how about the Clemson offense is fixed. No, it's not. They just played Wake Forest. Wake Forest can be as good as they want on offense. Their defense does not have the players to keep up with the bigger Clemson receivers, and plus they were already down 2 corners, so keeping it going to overtime should be a damnation of Clemson that they weren't able to exploit those corners earlier. DJ is not good. He's not fixed. I'm going to be honest. This is in my picks for my big money move parlay. I am taking NC State over Clemson in Clemson to go back-to-back wins in the Textile Bowl.
All right. Kent, I know you have some friends that are Clemson fans, Clemson alum. What's the word on the street? What are they saying about this game?
I've been a little hesitant to ask. I think they feel pretty confident. I've heard that College Game Day is possibly moving indoors to their basketball arena, so we'll see how that affects them. I don't know, man. I could see this one going either way. I'm still going to pick Clemson. I have been defending them on this podcast now since the beginning, and I'm going to continue to say that they're going to win.
He's going to draw his line in the sand.
I would not be surprised if it goes the other way.
This will be a great litmus test though too, to see like, is NC State the real deal? We saw what Wake Forest was against Clemson, so it'll be a good kind of like, if Clemson wins this game, I think their odds to win that side of the conference go up tremendously.
The only real test on the schedule left will be Florida State at that point.
But then this will kind of give us a read of maybe who would be coming in second, pushing on their tails if anybody else was to upset Clemson in that.
I mean, yeah, whoever comes out of this game, I think, is the presumptive favorite. Having the tiebreaker over either one of these teams is huge.
Yep.
Because,
well, yeah, I was gonna say if NC State pulls this game out and then Wake beats NC State, then we've got
the same situation as last year.
Like, everybody's beating everybody at that point, so it comes down to the rest of the game. So I think that's like the most fun scenario on that side of the division.
We love some chaos.
Yeah, we would love to see the chaos. We talked about this game on an earlier episode of the pod. Just in our season previews about how big this game was going to be. And it's here. So
it's living up to the hype. Top 10 matchup. This is everything you can ask for from week 5.
Yeah.
I mean, man, if NC State wins this game, they've got Florida State at home next week, which could be a letdown spot. It's a big game. They've got Wake Forest at home, and they go on the road to UNC, which is not too far away from Raleigh, but they would be sitting in a very good position if they were able to win this game, and I do think they're going to win.
Yeah.
What's your pick? You're the tiebreaker again.
Clemson. I do think that NC State's very good. A little bit of a redemption tour here for Clemson from last year. In Death Valley, it's probably one of the hardest places to play in the entire country. So they have a lot going for them, and I think we're going to get that narrative of Clemson staying in the top 10 for just a couple more weeks here.
Yeah. Just one last thing before we get to our last game preview. If NC State were to win this game, it would be the first time they won back-to-back games in the Textile Bowl since 1998 and 1999.
Wow.
And Tommy Bowden was coaching Clemson.
The good old days.
Good old days for sure. Let's move to the final game that I have listed. I don't know if you have any others that you want to talk about. But in our Mario's tier for Saturday night, 7 o'clock on ESPN+, Georgia Southern goes to Coastal Carolina. I didn't think Georgia Southern would be 3-1 under Clay Helton, but they are. And Coastal Carolina is always fun to watch. It seems like Grayson McCall's injury was not serious. He'll be back for this game. This is a game where you throw it on to watch some awesome play calling, sort of in the same tier as Kansas, watching that to see how that run game works. This is just higher rank because Georgia Southern is a little bit better than Iowa State relative to their opponent. That's just my recommendation. If you got an extra screen, throw on ESPN+. Do you have a Wouldn't It Be Funny?
I do not. I will be honest. I didn't get a chance to get into the narratives of the humor this week. But I will. This is a promise that before the games on Saturday, I will come out with a Wouldn't Be Funny that we could at least post a graphic for.
Okay, so just to talk about something, would it be funnier? It's 7:30 p.m. FS1, West Virginia at Texas. Who is it funnier to win that game?
West Virginia, for sure.
So then I think I'm in the same boat where my hatred for WVU is a little bit less than laughing at Texas fans and just going, "Horns down,
Yeah.
horns down."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Longhorn Nation could handle a loss to probably their biggest rival in Texas Tech.
No, it's Oklahoma.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. But like their biggest in-state rival, Texas Tech, and then to lose to West Virginia, who might be the worst team in the Big 12, would be very funny for Texas fans. So yeah, I guess without diving deep, that can be honorary Wouldn't It Be Funny of the week. I like that pick.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and give you the big money move parlay week 5. Last week it did not hit. We had some tough breaks in the Oregon State and the Wake Forest games, and as well as the Arkansas games. And funnily enough, the pick I was least confident in K-State was the one that won the most convincingly.
Yep.
However, week 5, we're going to go with Washington. It is a favorite, but I like him. I like him a lot.
Money line?
All money line. I'll be giving out the odds as money line parlay and spread parlay with the graphics. Next, we'll take Oklahoma State as road dogs. Baylor. I think they're the better team. We're taking Kansas money line as a home dog against Iowa State. We're taking Florida State, who is a home favorite against Wake Forest. We're taking Mississippi State money line against A&M at home. And we are taking NC State money line on the road in Death Valley, plus 215. I would bet this straight. I love these odds for this. Right now on FanDuel, that gives you a combined odds of plus 5,305. Not as good as last week's odds, just because there's some favorites in there, not as many big dogs, but we will be posting the graphic. I'm pretty confident this week we'll get back.
I love that. Obviously, probably not on the same boat as the with the NC State game, but a lot of good picks in there that make for some pretty good value.
Yeah. All right.
I'm all in on Wake Forest over FSU this week.
Really?
Ken hates my picks. He just hates them. He cannot get enough of fading me, which, in certain circumstances is pretty good to do. Just want to do a quick check-in around the ACC before we sign off for the night. 12 o'clock on Saturday, Louisville goes to Boston College, mid-off. 3:30 on the ACC Network, Virginia Tech goes to North Carolina. UNC is favored by 9. I think they're going to win by more because Virginia Tech does not have an offense at all. Like we said earlier, Syracuse hosts Wagner at 5 o'clock on ESPN+, and then 7:30 on ESPN3. We have a Nerd Bowl, Virginia at Duke. I don't think any of these games are nearly as good as the other matchups, and even ours is kind of second tier.
Yeah. It's top heavy ACC matchups this week.
Oh, for sure. You got anything else before we sign off, Mason, Kent?
No, I'm all good.
I'm good too.
All right, cool. Thank you for tuning into the show. This has been Simplify Podcast. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell your family, tell some random person to meet at the bar. Strike up a good conversation about a podcast at a bar. It's never gone wrong before. Follow the show at SimplifyPod on Twitter. DM us any questions you want answered on the show. Rate us 5 stars before you close out your podcast app. You can follow me at I'm Real Angry on Twitter. You can follow Mason at Clayson_Ming. You can follow Kent at Kenton_VW. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Go a bit.
Bye, Jeff Collins.